The ocean floor is closer to you than you think, but almost nobody has ever seen it. We have mapped the surface of the moon in more detail than the bottom of our own ocean. No sunlight ever reaches down there. No warmth either. Just crushing pressure that would flatten a human body in seconds without the right equipment. And yet, animals eat, sleep, and raise their young down there like it is the most normal place in the world, because to them, it actually is. Down there, in complete darkness and crushing pressure, some of the strangest animals on the entire planet just live their normal, everyday lives. Today, we count down 5 creatures that live deeper than almost anything else that swims. One turns into a permanent parasite. One sees through its own skull, and one was dismissed as a sailor's myth for centuries before anyone proved it was real. Number 1. The anglerfish. Deep in the ocean where sunlight never reaches, a small light bobs alone in the darkness. It belongs to the anglerfish. If you swam down here yourself, you would not be able to see your own hand in front of your face. A stretchy, glowing lure dangles right above its enormous jaws, waiting for something curious enough to swim close. That glow does not even come from the fish itself. Tiny bioluminescent bacteria live right inside the tip of the lure, and the fish simply controls blood flow around them, like flipping a switch to turn the light on and off whenever it wants. Some anglerfish live over 2,000 meters down, where the pressure alone would crush a human instantly. Stack about 10 Eiffel Towers straight on top of each other, and you would still not reach that depth. Here's the twist. The males of this species are tiny. Some are barely the size of a fingernail next to a female, who can grow much larger. A male has to find a female purely by smell in total darkness. Once he finds her, he bites onto her body and never lets go. Over time, his skin actually fuses directly into hers. Their blood vessels connect. His eyes and most of his organs slowly disappear because he does not need them anymore. He becomes a permanent living attachment, just there to provide sperm whenever she needs it. Some females carry several fused males on their body at once. Out of the roughly 200 known species of anglerfish, only a certain few actually do this permanent fusion trick, which somehow makes it stranger, not less strange. When scientists first found these tiny fused lumps on female anglerfish in the 1920s, they genuinely thought they had discovered a strange new parasite. Nobody expects their first date to become biologically permanent, but for a male anglerfish, that is just Tuesday. Up next is a creature so gentle-looking, it barely seems real. Number 2. The Dumbo Octopus. Named after the Disney elephant because of 2 fins on its head that look exactly like a pair of floppy ears. It flaps them gently to glide through the water instead of jetting around like most octopuses do. Scientists officially classified this group back in the late 1800s under the name Grimpoteuthis, which is a lot less charming than just calling it the Dumbo Octopus. Some Dumbo octopuses have been recorded over 7,000 meters down, which is deeper than almost any other octopus species on the planet. That is roughly 4 miles straight down into freezing, crushing darkness. Most animals living that deep look sharp and armored, built to survive constant danger. The Dumbo octopus looks like a soft, round balloon with 2 little ears, which is not exactly the intimidating design you would expect from something living at the bottom of the world. Here's the twist. Most octopuses squirt ink and fight or flee the second something threatens them. The Dumbo octopus does not even have an ink sac. Down at that depth, almost nothing is fast enough or interested enough to bother hunting it, so it never needed the defense in the first place. It just drifts along in slow motion, swallowing worms and small creatures whole without even chewing. Scientists who study them describe the Dumbo octopus as one of the calmest, most unbothered animals in the entire ocean. It is basically the most relaxed creature alive, purely because nothing down there gives it a reason not to be. It genuinely acts like the one coworker who never once looks stressed, no matter what is happening around them. Our next creature was only officially discovered by scientists in 2005. Number 3. The Yeti Crab. This one was not discovered by scientists until the year 2005, near a scalding hot vent almost 2,200 meters down near Easter Island, where toxic chemicals pour constantly into the freezing water around it. Its claws and arms are covered in pale, bristly hair that made researchers instantly think of a Yeti, which is exactly where the name comes from. Nobody had ever seen anything quite like it before, so the discovery genuinely made international news at the time. Here's the twist. That hair is not for warmth or camouflage. The Yeti crab actually farms bacteria directly on its own body. It waves its hairy claws over the chemical-rich water pouring out of the vent, which helps bacteria grow right there in its fur. Then it simply eats the bacteria straight off its own arms as its main meal. It is basically walking around with its own dinner growing on it at all times. If you tried growing your own meals in your arm hair back on land, people would have some serious questions for you. Scientists officially named the species Kiwa hirsuta, after a mythological goddess of shellfish, which feels like a serious upgrade from just being called the hairy crab. Our next creature has a see-through head, and it is exactly as strange as that sounds. Number 4. The Barreleye fish. For a long time, nobody knew this fish had a completely see-through head. It usually lives somewhere between 600 and 800 meters down in a layer of ocean people call the twilight zone, since a tiny bit of sunlight can still reach that far, but barely enough to see by. Every specimen pulled up in fishing nets arrived dead, with its soft, transparent dome already collapsed and destroyed. For over 100 years, museum drawings of this fish were basically guesses, since every single sample scientists had to work with arrived ruined. Scientists only discovered the truth in 2004, when a research team finally filmed a living one deep in its own habitat using a remote submersible. Here's the twist. Inside that clear, fluid-filled dome sit two tube-shaped eyes that can rotate and point straight up through the top of its own skull. That lets it stare upward, watching for the faint shadow of prey or predators passing far above without moving its body at all. The clear dome works almost like a windshield, protecting those rotating eyes while still letting enough light through for them to actually use. When it finds something worth eating, those same eyes can swing forward so it can watch its own meal the entire time. It is basically the only fish alive with a sunroof built directly into its face. Our final creature was dismissed as nothing more than a sailor's myth for hundreds of years. Number 5. The Giant Squid. For hundreds of years, sailors told stories of an enormous sea monster with giant reaching arms that could drag an entire ship down into the deep. Old maps sometimes even drew warnings and monster illustrations directly over the parts of the ocean nobody had explored yet. Scientists mostly dismissed it as pure legend, a myth, the kind of story you tell to explain a ship that never came home. For centuries, the only real evidence anyone had was giant sucker scars found on the skin of sperm whales, proof that something enormous was fighting them in total darkness far below the surface. Here's the twist. The giant squid is completely real, and some grow up to 13 meters long, which is longer than a city bus. Its eyes are the largest of any animal on the planet, roughly the size of a basketball, built specifically to catch the faintest flicker of light in complete darkness. Scientists actually gave it an official scientific name, Architeuthis dux, back in the 1850s, based on nothing but washed-up remains. That means the species had a formal name for over 150 years before anyone ever managed to catch it on camera alive. Even with a monster like that swimming around down there, nobody managed to photograph one alive in its own home until the year 2004. Nobody filmed one alive and hunting until 2012. An animal large enough to inspire centuries of sea monster legends spent almost all of human history successfully hiding from every single camera on the planet. So the next time somebody tells you a legend sounds too crazy to be real, just remember, somewhere down there, it might just be waiting to be filmed. 5 creatures. 1 fuses permanently into its mate. 1 farms its own dinner in its fur. 1 watches the world through the top of its own skull. And 1 hid from every camera on Earth for centuries, despite being longer than a bus. The deep ocean is not empty. It is just somewhere almost nobody has ever actually looked. Every single one of these animals is living out there right now, completely unaware that any of this seems strange to us at all. Which one of these would you least want to run into down there? Let us know in the comments below.